Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Money Factor here on the Sphere Podcast Network. My name is LaShonda Johnson, and I am a certified financial educator and also the co-founder of the Houston Housewives of Finance. And I have a very special guest here with me this morning. I'm very thrilled to be able to have some with us this morning that can help us in recovering from Hurricane Harvey. And so, yes, this will be a topic that we talk about a lot, but I have someone especially here with me this morning to talk about the claims process, the property and casualty process. And so I want to welcome this morning Mr. Mike Harris from State Farm. So, Mike, hello.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. It's very good to have you here this morning. And can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Mike Harris. I've been here in Houston about 20 years. Been with State Farm for the last 4 years and having a great experience taking care of customers. One of the things we do at State Farm is, and one of our mission statements is to be there when customers experience things that are unexpected, which is what's happening in Houston right now.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's an understatement to say this was unexpected, and
right.
So those of you who are watching us and listening to us, please, if you can, share the show. We're going to be on Facebook Live for the first 15 minutes. And this is going to be a powerful show with information that we know you can use today. So Mike, tell us about your background with property and casualty.
Well, with property and casualty, we're one of the largest insurers at State Farm in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We help protect customers' homes, we protect their cars, and we protect their businesses with property and casualty insurance.
Okay.
And so when you do experience a loss, we're there to take care of that once you file that claim with us.
And how long have you been with State Farm?
I've been with State Farm about 4 years now.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this morning, you guys, you can also send us a comment through Facebook comments if you'd like, if you have questions. So we're going to cover the recovery process. So we know now it's what are we going into? How many weeks it's been now? 2, maybe?
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks since Harvey hit us. Man, he hit us. And then Irma came right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So if those of you who are watching outside of the Houston area, if you were impacted by Irma, this information is going to be able to help you as well.
Absolutely.
So I want to go to the first article we want to share. It talks about the damages that Houston sustained.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that number is still climbing.
Yes.
Is there? So have you been able to get any type of concrete numbers as far as how many homes and cars were damaged in the flood?
Yeah, it's a great point. Even though it's almost 2 weeks later, a little bit more than 2 weeks later after the storm hit, they're still assessing damage right now. And there are still many individuals and families who are not in their homes at this point. There's
Wow.
still water in homes here in Houston. And so at State Farm, we're working every day to try to assist those customers in any way that we can to get back into their homes or to live comfortably while they wait to get back into their homes.
So we want to talk about that process because that's very important, getting back into your home. So I've heard all kinds of things, and that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because there's all kinds of misconceptions about how the claims process goes. If you don't have flood insurance, if you're going to be able to be covered. I mean, so give us a little description, first of all. Give us a little history on flood insurance and what is described as flood zones. Although Houston has become, the entire city has become a flood zone, but how would you know even if you're in a flood zone?
Absolutely, be happy to do that. So a little bit of history. So in the past, most of the major insurance companies offered flood insurance directly to their customers. So for example, with my agency at State Farm, we would offer in past years flood insurance through State Farm, but that's changed in recent years. At this point in time, most companies are offering the flood insurance through FEMA, so through the National Flood Insurance Program. So
okay, can I hold you?
Sure.
So you have to buy flood insurance through FEMA. You cannot buy it through traditional ways?
The traditional companies, most of them are no longer offering it directly themselves.
And why would that be? Because of the loss in
Yes, that's something to do with it. And then there's been some significant disasters in past years where the federal government had to step in to help
and take control
take care of the consumers. And so it made sense in the past to transfer that over to the National Flood Insurance Program through FEMA.
Okay.
And so you can go through your local agent. So, for example, you can come to me and I can help you get a quote and get flood insurance set up to protect your home and your property.
So how do people get in touch with you?
So the way people can get in touch with me is by email. They can email me at mike@mikeinsuresyou.com, or they can call my office. My office number is 281-463-7300.
Okay, awesome. So now that everybody has been stricken with flooding, so now how do they, if you didn't have flood insurance, what is the repercussion for that?
Well, there's several things that you can do. So one thing you want to do is you want to contact your agent or your insurance company, and you want to have them discuss with you the possibility of you're filing a claim. Because even if you don't have flood insurance, there is the possibility that there could be some coverage under your homeowner's policy or your renter's policy for your home to cover damages to your property.
Okay.
And so you want to look at filing that claim and then having someone come out and take a look at your home, because it is possible during a storm like this that there could be damage from other sources besides surface water flooding, which would not be covered in most homeowners' policies.
Okay, please explain that.
Okay, so a lot of people were surprised when they looked at their homeowners policy or their talk with their insurance company, and they discovered that their homeowners policy or their renter's policy, if they're a tenant, does not cover surface water flooding, which means water that comes into the home from outside of the home. So normally, if the result of the loss from water is from within the home, there is the possibility that your homeowners or renter's policy would cover that. But when the water comes in from outside the home, it's not covered. It's considered surface water flooding.
Mike. Okay. Flooding happens outside of the home. I mean, most cases. So I know that something can happen where your tub overflows and things like that.
Exactly.
So those policies are strategically written to exclude outside, the home flooding.
That's correct. Most homeowners and renters policies specifically exclude surface water flooding that comes from outside the home.
Now, how would you know that?
So you would need to sit down with your agent and really go through your policy and understand that we do routinely in my office here at State Farm. We have insurance reviews with our customers where we go through your policies and we go through and understand what's covered and what's not covered. And we understand what the gaps are in your coverages. And flood insurance would be a gap that we might identify, and then we can assist you in getting the flood insurance coverage that you need.
I need you to explain the gap. Okay, so, all right, let's go through a scenario here. So those of you who are listening to us. So my home was flooded. I mean, my home was not personally, thank God. But if my home was flooded, I don't have this protection that you're talking about as far as surface water flooding. So what then now am I to do? My home is I'm a loss.
Right.
First of all, what would categorize your home as a total loss versus something that could be repaired?
Right. So what would happen is you would file a claim, and to answer your both your questions with this statement. So you would file a claim with your current insurance company, and they should send an adjuster out to your home and do an assessment of the damage to your home. And that adjuster, based on their skills and knowledge and training, they would determine whether your home is a total loss, which means the cost to repair your home exceeds the value that it would create to do that work.
Repair it.
Right.
Okay.
And so that would be in the hands of the adjuster and your insurance company to determine. And then if they determine that there is damage to your home that is repairable, they should help you get an estimate of what it would cost to repair that damage, and then how much your insurance company would pay. So you have to take into consideration things like deductibles. How much?
What is an average deductible on a homeowner's policy? So an average.
Most homeowners have they have two deductibles. One deductible is for wind and hail damage, so windstorm and hail, so tornadoes, hurricanes, damage from wind. Usually has at least a 2% deductible on most policies. 2% of the dwelling coverage that you have on your home. So if you have a $200,000 home that's insured for $200,000, then 2% of that would be $4,000, and that would be the deductible that you would be responsible for. And
before repairs can begin.
Well, the repairs can begin, but then the insurance company would pay the
everything
total amount,
less your deductible.
That's your deductible. So
Wow.
you would take the total amount of the repairs, subtract your deductible, and that's how much the insurance company would pay.
Okay, so I want to stop right there because one of the things that we've talked about here many, many times on the Money Factor is having an emergency fund.
That's right.
And so if you're, if you're considered, I won't say insolvent personally, but if you don't have the money for to cover those expenses, then that could create a problem.
It sure can.
And so having an emergency fund is very important, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the podcast. But I wanted to make sure that people understand this process. Now, we've talked a little bit about homes. Now, say for example, your home is a total loss, but you don't have this coverage. What do you do, or what recourse would you have? Right.
So you definitely want to file a claim with FEMA. So, as you know, the government has made funding available to assist Houston with the disaster that we've had here.
Yes.
And so
we know the debt ceiling was just raised in order to accommodate the hurricane and all of its devastation. I don't know if that debt ceiling included whatever they're going to have to assess for Irma, right. But yes, we do have monies.
Right. And so you would file that claim with FEMA. And there's different options that FEMA has to assist you. So there are grant funds available. Depending on your qualifications for that type of assistance, it is possible that you could receive a grant from FEMA to help.
Now, let me ask you the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Can FEMA replace my home? Am I going to get enough funds through this grant program to do the replacement process of my home if I'm not insured?
I really can't answer that. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis as to what FEMA will actually do and what funding they would pay in that situation. But there is funding available. And so I would definitely encourage everyone to apply if they need assistance. And even if you have homeowner's insurance,
you can still apply.
You can still apply for assistance from FEMA as well.
Okay, so you guys, we're at that portion in the show where we get to talk about our sponsor, which is Elite Dental Wellness. And so at Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We're committed to the finest possible oral care and overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness at 713-789-8680. So, awesome. So now that we've talked a little bit about the homes, and I know that also you guys, FEMA, how much you get is dependent upon how many people they have to serve.
That's correct.
According to the budget, what they have in the budget. And so they have that strategically planned out. So if you have not yet applied for FEMA, if any of this fits you in your circumstance, please do apply. And you can go to where, Mike, to apply?
Go to disasterassistance.gov. You
Okay.
can apply right there.
disasterassistance.gov. I know we also have a link for that on our Facebook page, which is the Houston Housewives of Finance official. If it doesn't say official, it's not us. You can scroll down. It is in a post there. There is a link that you can click on and go directly there and do your application.
Yes.
And so now let's talk about vehicles.
Okay. Very, very, very significant situation here in Houston.
Oh, wow. Okay, so tell us about it.
I've heard that there's numbers in the maybe 600,000 vehicles have been.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Some form of damage here in the Houston area, which is just
devastating.
Devastating.
Yes, I mean our history of storms. I don't think we've had any type of casualties like this on vehicles. And when I checked before, I did check the numbers, and they were saying a little over 100,000 homes.
100,000 homes, 600,000 vehicles.
Wow.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented. So if my car was flooded, and way more vehicles took a hit than homes.
Yes.
What is the process for that?
So again, what you want to do is you want to contact your insurance company or your agent, and you want to get that claim process started for your vehicle. Now, for replacing or repairing your vehicle, you would want to have comprehensive coverage on your vehicle. So I think everyone's aware that you have to have minimum liability coverage on your cars.
Yes.
But in addition to that, you also want to have comprehensive and collision coverage. And it's that comprehensive coverage on your vehicle that would help assist you in getting your car repaired and replaced by the insurance company.
Okay. Now, how long does this process take? I know that now that we have 600,000 cars that were affected, then that means 600,000 owners.
That's correct.
How do you get to these people? I mean, that's a lot of people to serve.
It sure is, and it's a major challenge. So I know that with State Farm, we've brought in resources from all over the country, and they're stationed around Houston and the Gulf area, all the way down toward Victoria, Corpus Christi, down in that area as well. So we've got the resources on the ground that are here to assist our customers in getting their vehicles recovered and repaired or replaced. Okay. And so that process can take a little bit of time.
It can take some time.
So definitely want to encourage everyone to have a little bit of patience at this time because, as you mentioned, there are so many vehicles impacted.
Yes. So, and we're going to talk about patience as we continue in the podcast today. So we're going to end Facebook Live in about 30 seconds. So if you have not yet subscribed to the Spear, we need you to do that right now. Please go to the Spear Podcast Network and subscribe so that you can continue to watch the show in its entirety. There will be links provided for you. While you're there, we'd like for you to write a review. Please write a review. Tell us what you think. Tell us how this show has impacted you, what you like to see, whatever comments you'd like to leave there. We would appreciate it. We also would like for you to share the show. This information is very vital. Many, many people, as we can see, over 600,000 people with cars, not to mention homes, were affected with Hurricane Harvey. So we would love for you to share this show and all the shows. And there's also an opportunity for you to be able to donate. So there is a button there for a one-time contribution or a one-time single donation, or you can become a patron who donates all the time. We would like either way. This show is provided to you complimentary. So if you would like to support our cause, we would certainly appreciate it. So we'll continue. Now, let's talk about the process. Okay. So once you obviously know you've lost a vehicle, your home has been damaged, you contact your agent, you file a claim. What happens after you file that claim?
So what would happen next is an adjuster would be assigned to your claim.
And about what amount of time?
Within 5 to 7 days, you should be contacted by someone from your insurance company to make an arrangement or an appointment with you to come out and look at your car or look at your home.
Okay.
And that adjuster's responsibility is to come out there and assess the amount of damage that was done to your home or your car.
Okay. So now at that time, would you then now be able to get a figure of how much your loss is worth once that person comes out?
Yes. Shortly thereafter, you should be able to get an estimate from the adjuster regarding, the status of your vehicle, as well as any damage to your home, and what coverages your homeowner's policy would have. And then you would have an idea of, if you have a flood policy, what damages would be covered by the flood policy versus covered by your homeowner's policy.
Okay.
Because it could
and
be
if is the word you said if. So I want to kind of go back to that. Now I know you said the home is covered for water damage inside of the home, not outside of the home if you don't have a flood policy, correct?
It could be, yes.
It could be. Okay. Now what about a car?
Now, in a car, so the car isn't obviously going to be covered for any kind of mechanical issue that's associated with the car, but any damage caused by a natural disaster such as a flood or hailstorm, if you have that comprehensive coverage on your car, then that would be covered under your policy.
So if my car is flooded and I have full coverage on my policy, then I would be able to take that loss, because we know if your car is underwater, it's gone.
It's gone.
Then that would be filed underneath my
Your auto insurance policy.
auto insurance policy. But which part of the policy did you say?
It's under the comprehensive coverage
Comprehensive
for
coverage.
the flooding.
Okay.
And then also there's other coverages that are offered, like rental car reimbursement. So if, for example, your car is flooded, and many of my customers are dealing with this on a daily basis, where their car is flooded, they're not able to get to their
around,
car or drive and get
yes.
to work and things like that. And so they can use that rental car reimbursement coverage on their policy as well, if they have it, to get a rental car while their car is being repaired or until they can get their car replaced.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I do want to say this, you guys. Insurance repairs or replaces. And also the process with insurance is to bring you back to the normal state.
That's correct.
It's not you're not supposed to, be on the come up. It's not designed for you to come up. It's designed for you to be restored. And so I do want to say something real quick here. If you have not been affected by, Hurricane Harvey in a way that you don't need to receive some of the aid that's out here, please, you guys, refrain from taking advantage of this situation, because there's so many people that need it, and those of us who don't, and we're trying to, take advantage of this situation and we don't need it, we're affecting those who really do.
We sure
And
are.
so-
We sure are. And there's people that I personally experience on a daily basis who really need the support that the insurance provides.
Yes.
And so you're exactly right.
Yes.
And then the other thing that does is it just drives up the cost of insurance for all of us.
Oh my gosh, let's not talk about that. Well, let's talk about that. Because obviously we've all been affected by this. So we're talking about an unprecedented 600,000 vehicles
Right.
that have been lost or damaged to this flood. Now, maybe I didn't file a claim, but I'm going to be impacted on my rates by this. Or is that not true?
It could be. It could be that, based on the loss experience of the insurance companies collectively here in Texas, that they may have to increase rates in the future because they have to recover.
They
all
have
of
to
them.
recover. Right.
That's correct.
Wow. And I can only imagine the amount of money that's going to be passed out. So let me ask you a question. Do you foresee any companies becoming insolvent due to Hurricane Harvey?
Well, I can't predict that, but I do know that in past natural disasters type situations such as this, there are companies who did, close up shop and leave town. And that's one of the advantages of going with a company like State Farm, where State Farm's been around for almost 100 years.
They have they have the cash to cover it.
They have the cash. So we'll be here. We're going to be here through it all. So you can count on that.
So you guys, it does matter who covers your property.
It does matter.
Especially in times like these. And we live on the Gulf Coast. So, hey, we know we have these things to have to deal with. So we're at that portion of the show that we need to talk about our next sponsor. And our next sponsor is, of course, The Sphere. And I love it that it's now The Sphere Podcast Network. So are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere Podcast Network. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. So call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv or thesphere.tv. Okay? Awesome. So lots of exciting things happening here at the Sphere Podcast Network. I really love the new name, Gary Lee. So make sure you stay tuned here, please. There's several shows outside of the Money Factor that we know that you can benefit from. So make sure that you tune in and watch. There's a lot that you can learn here. So I want to go over to the article. I actually wrote an article and published it on last Wednesday about Hurricane Harvey, the recovery process. And it's called Hurricane Harvey, After the Storm, the Recovery Process. And if you're watching us, you can see that, something that came to me during this process is life does have its way of, it always emerges through devastation. Mm-hmm. And so those of you who are feeling devastated as a result of this, because as you said earlier, we still do have people who are not in their homes. They're still displaced. They're still trying to get around. I talked to someone in the airport when I was traveling just a few days ago that said that he had to go all the way to Austin to get a rental car because there were no rental cars available in Houston. So 600,000 people need to have a means of transportation. So, that's, shout out to the rental car companies. I mean, that boosted their bottom line. But yes, we do still have people who are displaced and they're still trying to recover. And the recovery process is going to take time. But life always emerges through devastation. It just does. This isn't the first devastating hurricane we've had. We've had others. Now, this one was unprecedented, but we've had others that kind of put us on our back for a while. Mm-hmm. And so I want to go to the article that was published. This was published in Empire Magazine, and it is available there. It's on our Facebook page, The Houston Housewives of Finance Official. It's also on LinkedIn, and it's on my personal Facebook page as well. But Hurricane Harvey has created an impressive resume. I mean, it's this is a puffed up resume for the damage that it's caused. Mm-hmm. And, now we can say everything is bigger in Texas, including floods and storms. That's correct. And, so the ultimate destination of recovery is, to be able to get yourself back to a normal state. So I draw a correlation in this article with recovering from an addiction to also recovering from a hurricane. Mm-hmm. And so the two do kind of work together. As I was doing research on recovery, the whole recovery process, I said, man, these things are very applicable to those of us who are recovering from this hurricane. And so the first point in here is, first of all, to realize that, we were all in denial at first. As I'm sitting here watching the events, and I know you being a property and casualty insurance agency, you were probably thinking, oh my gosh, my clients. Yes. What was your first thought when you saw all the things that happened? Because literally we were trapped in from Friday. This thing started to hit Friday, and not until the next following week, we're talking, Wednesday, Thursday, where things really clear to even move around. And still there were situations where we couldn't move around.
Yeah. And I was actually sort of stuck out of town. I'd gone out of town and was not able to get back to Houston. So my biggest concern was I need to get back to Houston so I can help take care of my customers. Clients. Oh, right. So I know they're going to need me. They're going to be calling me, and I'm not there to help them. And that was my biggest concern.
Wow.
But I was able to get back. I had to go through Austin as well to get back to Houston, but was able to get back.
So I know I was in shock, you know, as I heard the sheets of rain pounding down. I was like, oh my gosh, is there ever going to be an end? And I think Saturday was the worst, because Saturday, I mean, you know, we went through about 172 tornado warnings. I don't know how many of them actually hit ground, but 172 warnings. That is, I mean, insane. And so Saturday was really bad, because every 5 minutes, you were hearing, you know.
Yes.
And so just being in shock. And then can you imagine the people coming home and saying, oh my gosh, this is what used to be home.
Yes.
And so emotionally, you guys, we have to, it's okay. I mean, I know you've experienced some clients who've shed some tears.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you know, and you have to deal with those kind of situations. How do you deal with those situations when they're calling you, I've lost everything?
Right. And it's just the reason that, you know, I got into the business that I'm in, is that I care about people.
Awesome.
And so that's the first thing, is to reach out. And that was the first thing that I did when I returned back into Houston, was started reaching out to my customers. I started calling them just to check to make sure that they were okay.
Awesome.
And so.
Okay. So you guys, the first step there, a lot of people lost a lot of things. And so if you experienced a loss, and you had to go back home and start to realize, oh my gosh, I've lost this. This meant so much to me. One thing I want to talk about, which is in the article, if we can go back to the article, because the article is dissected in the stage of recovery, and then it gives a tip to consider for rebuilding. So, yes, it's okay to grieve over the things that you lost. It's okay. Give yourself permission to do that. You know, lots of time we're trying to be strong. Oh, I'm going to make it through this. Yes, we're going to make it, but it's okay to grieve, especially if you lost very valuable things. So a way to prevent that in the future is digital documentation storage. And I want you to give us a call at 1-844-700-4463 to discuss that. So there's a way for you to store valuable pictures, documents, your insurance policies, all of that electronically through Tenzing. And so that is the way of the future, is that we're getting away from putting things in a safety deposit box and putting things away in our closet or out in the shed or in the garage, or, you know, electronically you need to store things. So really, we want to discuss this with you. Please give us a call at 1-844-700-4463. You can reach out to us also on info@HoustonHousewifesOfFinance.com. You can reach out to me personally at LaShondaJ@HoustonHousewifesOfFinance.com. You can Google us. I mean, you can go through Instagram. You can DM us on Instagram. You can inbox us on Facebook. Just make the call about this service, because it will save you some of the heartache from dealing with not being able to recover valuables that really mean a lot to you. Okay, so let's go on to number two. Number two in this process is, contemplation stage. Get help. I really want to camp out a little bit on this, because I know you and I both are in the industry where we deal with clients. And not having a place to call home, that could really cause some emotional stress, loss of family, of a loved one or family. Yeah. I was listening just a few days ago while in Atlanta, and I think the death toll was like 73.
Yes.
And so that is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, 73 lives were lost, and some of those lives were lost trying to help other people to save their life. And so that was pretty devastating to even hear that. So if you need emotional help, I want to go back to the article to get your emotions in check, or if you're struggling with depression from this, or not just that you've even lost your home or lost your vehicle, just witnessing all of this can take a toll on you. Want to talk about post-traumatic stress syndrome. That is very, very real. You guys, we've provided 3 links for you to be able to go and get some help with your emotional well-being through the recovery process. There's 3 links here. There's all 3 of them you can click on. You can also go back to the Spear TV and see these links that are available to you. in the article so that you can click on them. So please take care of your emotional well-being. You cannot recover if you're not emotionally stable. Okay. So mental health is very important during this process. Let's go to number 3. So preparation stage. Now, this is where you come into, Mike, assessing damage, getting you're contacting your leasing companies, your creditors, your employers, your agents. All of these people need to be contacted. If you have not contacted them yet, I hope we're over 2 weeks. I hope you've made all the phone calls necessary to do that. But it also says be humble. This is not the time to hide behind pride. This is not the time for you to be puffed up when you're experiencing a loss. And I'd like for you to share about that.
Absolutely. This is definitely, it's a humbling time.
It is for all of us.
For all of us.
And,
just over the last 2 weekends, just going out personally, helping people that I don't know, try to recover, as you just mentioned. It's a humbling experience to see what people have worked on their whole lives just put out on the street.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
It's a very humbling experience. And then just to touch on a couple of things that you just mentioned in the article about reaching out and contacting people like creditors and so forth. If you are in a situation where, you're having some difficulty financially, just living from day to day right now, reach out to those creditors.
Yes.
Many creditors are willing to work with their customers in this time to make adjustments in their bills and so forth. So I would definitely reach out and take your advice to do that.
Absolutely. So you guys, please contact your creditors. If you've experienced some loss of income due to this storm, you have to reach out to your creditors. They're being very, very lenient for, some of them 30 days to 60 days to 90 days. But you've got to let them know what you're going through. So let's go back to the article. It gives some specifics about that. Being able to let them know that you've experienced a loss, and that could be loss of income, that could be loss of your home, your car, and sometimes we've not personally been affected, but we have family members that are, and we need to help them. So you guys, points to consider, something to consider. In some cases, people will need to rebuild their homes, replace vehicles and possessions. In all cases, we do need to rebuild our financial foundation, okay? The component of our financial foundation that will require the most attention is our emergency fund, and we've talked about this for many, many, many Mondays on the Money Factor. So Harvey will most likely eat up most, if not all, of your emergency funds if you were impacted. And if you were not personally impacted, you may be called upon to help someone in your family or a friend. So a personal financial strategy is imperative to secure success in rebuilding your financial foundation. Emergency fund and overall financial house is going to be necessary to rebuild. So again, contact us at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewifesoffinance.com to schedule an appointment today to rebuild your financial house to withstand any future catastrophic events. And so how can they get in contact with you to make sure they have the proper, and I do want to make sure I stress this word, proper coverage on their assets, their home, their car, proper. Sometimes we're inclined to want to buy the least or lock into the less. No, this is not the time to do that. We have to have proper protection.
And that's exactly right. And so what we do at my agency at State Farm is, and you can reach me at 281-463-7300. Or you can email me at mike@mikeinsuresyou.com.
Okay, and if you're watching us, we have it on the screen there for you. So his contact information is there if you didn't catch that verbally. But you can also go back and watch the show again. You know that, right? It is available to you to go watch again. But yes, we've provided the information there for them. So
absolutely. And so one of the things we like to do is have that insurance review. So we're local. I'm on the northwest side of Houston. I can come to your home, sit down at your kitchen table, or you can come to my office and we can sit down and just review what you have and just review the type of coverage you have versus what you need.
And I love that you say that. I want to interrupt you there for 1 second. Having a review of what you have. We've said here also on the show, you need to know what you own and who you owe. You need to also know what kind of coverage you have.
That's correct. And
so it's very important to sit down and have a review of your property and casualty policies.
That's correct. Because we find a lot of people do exactly what you just mentioned. They get the coverage that they think they need from a legal perspective. You got to have that minimum liability in order to drive the car. But also we need to explain to you what these other coverages do for you, especially in times like these when
yes.
Your car is flooded, you need to get to work, and you don't have transportation.
Wow.
And so having that rental car coverage on there, making sure you've got the collision and comprehensive coverage.
And let's talk about cars. That were towed. They weren't towed necessarily at home. You have to get those cars. They were flooded. Not necessarily at home, so they have to be towed. You have to pay for that. This could be an astronomical expense that's unplanned for if you don't have an emergency fund, and if you don't have the proper coverage to be able to mitigate that cost. This could cause some serious problems in your budget.
Absolutely. And also, that emergency fund comes in where even if you do have coverage, it could take a little bit of time before you can get all the
back
money.
and running.
That's right. So you need that emergency fund to sustain you until that can come through for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. You have to, even though we've had these things occur, life didn't stop. We still have to go on, and we still have to make it to that employee that's going to help us to pay our bills, or make it to our personal business that's going to help us to do that as well. So we are at the portion of the show that we want to talk about our third sponsor. And our third sponsor is KOG and Company. Okay. So are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Unleash Your Dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passion in life. Join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells inside. Shop gear at KOGpassion.com. That's K-O-G-passion.com, and use the coupon code DOPE for 10% off exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. Act now, sizes are selling out fast. So unleash your dopeness. Okay, you guys? So we're helping you to unleash your recovery.
That's right.
As far as Hurricane Harvey is concerned. And so I'm really so happy to have you here, Mike, and be able to share this information, because this is powerful information that we all need. And maybe, again, you weren't personally impacted, but you have a family or a friend who was impacted. It's hard to get through the city and not know someone that was not impacted.
Absolutely.
It's hard. Yes. Yeah. So now let's go back to the article, and we want to talk about stage 4, which is the action stage. Now, let's talk about the collection process, okay? Mm-hmm. First of all, stage 4 is the collection on your claims, choosing your contractors, pay your creditors, reopen your business, return to work or school, replace necessities, and work your recovery plan. You do need to have a recovery plan. Now, you will want to be restored to normalcy as soon as possible, but please be realistic. This goes to that patient thing. Hurricane Harvey patiently ripped through our great city. He was camped out here a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, So you may have to be patient with service providers, contractors, adjusters to reach a point of restoration. Be patient with your loved ones. Don't, we can, under stress, we can be sharp with each other. Be patient with your colleagues at work, on the roads, because traffic is a beast.
Yes.
Still. And I don't know how long that's going to take place, but we've got to be patient on the roads and with ourselves. Okay. Set reasonable goals and expectations. Be careful not to splurge, overspend, and create mounds of debt in the recovery process. We need you to be wise with your money.
Absolutely. There's some really, really great points that you made there. One of them is, for example, in that claims process. So one of the things you want to do is make sure, I know a lot of us, and I've helped families over the last couple of weekends tear out sheetrock and those kind of things.
Oh my gosh, I know. I see. I mean, you see pictures everywhere of the bottom part of people's house gone.
It's all gone. It's all gone. But
Yes.
you do want to make sure you take photos. So
Yes.
So as you
Yes.
mentioned earlier, you want to have a digital record of what you had, so that when that adjuster comes out, or if you do file for a claim with FEMA, and when they come out, you want to be able to demonstrate to them what property you had and what was damaged. And so those photos are very important for
you
that.
guys, you heard it here. Make sure you take plenty of photos. This is a time when you need to be snap happy crazy in your house of your belongings.
Absolutely.
and the way your house was. So is there any other thing that they need to consider under the claims process?
Well, in the action stage that you just mentioned, you mentioned the contractors. So on a daily basis, I'm getting multiple inquiries from contractors all over the country wanting to come into Houston, and they're wanting me to assist them with helping people here in Houston. I would say take the advice that you gave a few minutes ago with Be Wise. Make sure that you check out anybody who's offering to provide services for you. Check them out.
Absolutely.
You can check them out through the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
You
Better
can
Business Bureau.
Business Bureau. And just ask for references. Ask for other people that they've helped.
And check them out, because sometimes we don't do it.
We
We get references, but we don't check them out. So let's go back to the article under the rebuilding portion. And it says here, make sure you have a budget for every expense. It's important now more than ever before to have an accountability for your money. So when you start to receive those claims in, you have to know how they're going to be allocated. Okay, this is not a time for you to say, oh, I've always wanted to have a 70-inch screen TV. Now I'm going to go and buy that. I'm just saying, people can,
Yes. Yes.
we know.
We know.
Okay, this is not the time for you to go pick up some items you've always wanted to have. Remember, this is to restore you back to normalcy.
That's correct.
Okay, not to give you on, put you on the come up, but help you to be restored back to normalcy. So you do want to make sure that you're taking that you're talking to people you trust.
That's correct.
This is the time to tap into that, and the article does talk about that. So we'll go back to the article real quick here and take a look. Now, can we go back up? Is it in that one?
That was it.
Okay, that was in it. That was it in that one. Okay, so I wrote this and I can't remember how I wrote it. But I want to say back on number 4 on the rebuilding tip, where it says to have a budget. Please give us a call at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@HoustonHouseWivesOfFinance.com to schedule a budget, to sit down and do a budget. Might I add, our services are complimentary, so you don't have to worry about an extra added expense. We will provide you this service complimentary, putting a budget in place for the recovery process. Now let's go to step number 5, the final step, which talks about maintaining yourself, maintenance and relapse prevention. So when we're talking about addiction, there's always a portion in to help you to maintain and not to relapse. Well, we have no control over Mother Nature or natural disasters. Hurricane season will always be a concern for the Gulf Coast. This is where we live. We know it happens. How we prepare for those events is in our control. Do what you can to prepare. Acquire the proper protection for your assets and you as the creator of those assets. I want to camp out right here for a second and we'll go back to the article. But I want to say this, 73 lives were lost. That means 73 families were impacted. We don't know what kind of coverage they had. We don't know. We can say that we didn't expect 73 people to be gone from their families' lives from this hurricane. And so loss of a loved one is sometimes, we can expect it because of long-term illness.
Yeah.
But through devastation like this, I tell you, that's devastating to experience a loss, but it's more devastating than to experience a loss than to now have to deal with you have nowhere to go and you've lost the income also that has come from that person's contribution to your family.
Absolutely.
So not only do you need to cover yourself your assets, but yourself as the creator of those assets.
That's correct.
And
that's the most important asset, to be honest with you.
Thank you so much for saying that. We need to know how important it is to have the proper protection. Speaking of which, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. You guys, make sure you have the proper protection. And I want to talk about the review. Like you said, this is the time to pull out your policies and give me a call, 1-844-700-4463. You can give us a call here at Houston Housewives of Finance. You can reach out to me personally at LaShondaJ@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance.com. You can reach out to Mike and get a review of your personal policy. And I just want to say, we've covered this several times too, that the DIME method, the DIME method, helps you to determine how much your economic value is to your family. D stands for debt. I stands for income. You need to replace your income at least for 10 years in your life insurance policy. And you also need to have your mortgage, the outstanding balance of your mortgage, protected. And also educational needs for your children need to be included in there. So let's go back to the article. So now you may want to now consider flood insurance if you didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about how they can get that again, Mike.
Absolutely. So that's one of the most prevalent calls we've had in the last 2 weeks. Yes, individuals looking to get flood insurance, and we've been getting them set up. So all it takes is a very short application. Mm-hmm. We have a tool, a flood determination tool, to determine whether you're in what's considered a flood zone or not. I know everyone thinks Houston's a flood zone right now, but there are true flood lines. There are true flood lines.
Okay.
And so and we can get you a quote. And the flood insurance, let me just say, if you live in an area that's not flood prone, and for a homeowner, it's not significantly expensive.
And it's not a bad idea to have it.
It's not at all.
I mean, especially now.
Yeah.
After we've gone through this. So you guys, if you don't have flood insurance, now's the time to get it. You want to have some flood insurance, especially we're not even done with hurricane season.
That's correct.
Irma has done her thing, and then she's got somebody coming behind her, and he has somebody coming behind him. So this is what we deal with every year, and we cannot call it. We don't know what Mother Nature's going to bring. So get properly protected in all aspects. And please, let's get away from this. Let me just get the minimum. What's the minimum? Start asking, what is the maximum that I can purchase in my that's suitable and affordable for me? What is the maximum? That should be the conversations we should be having.
That's correct.
What is the most I can buy instead of what is the least I can buy? That's suitable and affordable. Again, suitable and affordable. We help you to determine that here at the Houston Housewives of Finance. You can contact us at 1-844-700-4463. info@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance.com. Reach out to us and inbox us through Facebook, which is the Houston Housewives of Finance official. If it doesn't say official, it's not us. We have Instagram, Twitter. We have LinkedIn. Just Google us. There's multiple ways for you to reach out to us. This is not the time to shy back. This is the time to pull forward as you rebuild.
That's correct.
Okay. So let's go back to the article. And it also it talks about securing, like we said before, electronic document storage for your legacy, your financial documents, pictures, and the like should strongly be considered. You need to strongly consider electronic documentation storage. Making sure you have proper protection on you and your family, we've talked about, to replace your economic value in the event of a loss of a loved one. Understanding that people cannot be replaced, but proper protection can help tremendously in the recovery and restoration process. So building a 6-month supply of emergency fund to be able to mitigate some of the cost in the recovery and restoration process, and prevention of accumulating unwanted debt in this process. Because if you don't have an emergency fund, guess where people are going to flock to? I'll put it on my credit card.
That's correct.
And then now, you got to pay for this. It's already bad enough that you have to pay for it, but you're going to have to pay interest on top of that. So this is not a good look. So that's why we have to plan appropriately. And I want to challenge people to really start building a year's worth of emergency fund. It's not going to hurt you, but it will help you in times like this. So if you're displaced at work, you need the stream of money to still be coming in, because you still need to take care of your responsibilities. And even though you can push some things off with your creditors for a few months, it doesn't mean they're going to give you forgiveness of payment on them. They're just going to defer the payment. So you still have to pay it. So again, emergency fund, I cannot stress to you how important it is now to start rebuilding it. It is to use. So if you have a problem, you should use your emergency fund, but you have to restore those funds for future catastrophic events like this, and then day-to-day emergencies that happen in our family.
We see them every day.
Yeah, car accidents.
Someone unexpectedly passes away.
Absolutely.
We see it every day.
Yes, and so let's go back to the article and see what final tips that I've written there. So now it also talks about learn how to proactively participate in securing peace of mind for you and your family in the wake of a natural disaster. How do you do that? You get in front of a financial professional, you get in front of your property and casualty insurance professional, and make sure that you are covered on all fronts, so that if, something happens, you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm not covered. No, you can say, okay, I can withstand the storms of time because I have peace of mind. I've prepared. So we need to learn how to do the things that are in our control.
That's correct.
Yes, absolutely. So Mike, please, let's tell them how to get into contact with you again.
Yes, the best way to get in contact with me is to call my office. My office number is 281-463-7300. We're located in Northwest Houston at 17310 FM 529 Road. And that's Mike Harris State Farm. And you can email me as well at mike@mikeinsuresyou.com.
Mike insures you. I like that. Okay. So you guys, that's how you will reach Mike. That's a good person to call for your flood questions. Flood insurance questions. If you have a property and casualty policy, and I'm sure you'll be willing to review that policy no matter who wrote the policy, whoever provided it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So please give him a call. The thing I want to say here too before we conclude is that you do want to deal with people who are passionate about helping. There are predators out there who are looking to benefit from your loss, and you want to choose someone who's really passionate about helping. And so, we wouldn't have had him here if we didn't think that was the case for Mike. So give Mike a call, have him help you in reviewing your policy. If it's good, I'm sure he'll tell you. If there's room for opportunity, then let us tell you that too. So coming to building your house, rebuilding your financial house, please give us a call, 1-844-700-4463, HoustonHouseWivesOfFinance.com, or Houston Housewives of Finance official, our official Facebook page. Reach out to us. My personal email, and it's here also on the screen, is LaShondaJ@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance.com. Remember, life always finds a way to emerge through devastation. And we know that we're going to be Houston strong. We're going to come together as a community of people, and this is going to become a thing of the past, but it's going to take some time. So please, you guys, be patient, as Mike said. Mm-hmm. Have some patience with your adjusters, your insurance agents, your contractors, your family. Be patient, but just know that this too shall pass. So we'll see you next week, same time, same place, here on The Money Factor. But next week we'll be back on Monday instead of Tuesday, and we'll be at 10 a.m. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, you guys. Bye-bye.